Recently, I shared a video covering some of the exorbitant fees I see some pro-am teachers charging their students. And in that video, I referenced Colette on Dancing Queens being partnered up by her pro in favor of another pro-am student who spent exponentially more money on that pro. And I was really surprised, friends, to hear a number of you get in touch with me and share your own stories about being partner dumped, not by your amateur partner or your pro partner, but by your coach. And guys, you know, this just kind of refreshed my memory. It's happened to me too. So I'm going to just dive a little bit into that story today and share what happened to me. So early on in my ballroom dance journey, I eventually migrated to the best international pro in my state who taught standard. And after we had been taking with this person, I'm going to guess maybe a year, he summarily dumped us via email. And he cited in the email that, well, you know, I'm very fully booked and I only have time in my schedule for certain students who meet certain criteria. You need to compete with me pro-am at least 12 times a year. You need to take at least 10 lessons a week, yada, yada, yada. Now, of course, we're an amateur couple. We are not wealthy. We've never competed pro-am. So that we obviously did not meet this criterion. But we knew his one student who did. I would say about 3 months before, an extraordinarily wealthy dancer began to dance pro-am with him. And she offered to take him countless comps, as many as he wanted, pay for their pro-am fees, booked about 10 privates a lesson a week with him. She was willing to fly in any visiting coach that he asked for to coach them. And of course, she not only paid for the visiting coach, but his time for their lessons as well. Yeah. As an amateur couple, I was not going to be able to fly him anywhere and stay in luxury hotel rooms. Meanwhile, she's able to pay for the, penthouse suite in every hotel. He flew first class, not only him, but him and his wife, who didn't dance. But you guys, and I did understand why we were student dumped, but I'm also a human being. And, I had never heard of this happening to anyone else in my life at that stage of the game. I didn't really understand fully the full kind of greed sometimes that can be involved with pros that I've seen now that I'm a very seasoned pro in this industry. And, I couldn't help but take it personally. I'm like, oh my gosh, does he not want to teach me? Does she have more potential than I do? Does he just not like me? And of course, all of that is ridiculous. Straight up, guys, brass tacks came down to economics. She was patting the heck out of his wallet, and I never was going to be that student, okay? And I definitely wanted to share this story with you today in case it's happened to you or does happen to you, because you are not alone, my friend. And apparently it's happened to a lot of other people too, which is why I feel compelled to share a little more with you. Now, guys, don't worry. There is a pot of gold at the end of this rainbow. Although we were really crushed at the time and just thought, well, okay, do we just have to quit dancing? Because there was no other pro in the state that could have remotely taught us anything. Everyone else in the state, he had been a quarterfinalist, never danced professionally, but he did make the youth quarterfinal in Latin in junior black pool. So obviously it's not as competitive as amateur or pro, but he heck of a lot more better training than I would say, you know, anyone else in the state. Everyone else at that time just came out of the big chain studios. So kind of social level American style teachers. And at that point we were focused on international standard. So it was a make it or break it moment, my friends. Okay, so we could have quit, but we were like, you know what? We had just started seeing our primary coaches in New York. We had never actually flown to New York to see them, though. We had just seen them a couple times when someone else was flying them out to Utah, which is a heck of a lot closer to my state than the other side of the country, okay? And I'm broadcasting from Oregon. So we're like, you know what? Why don't we go full four-wheel drive here? So we committed to fly to New York to see our new coaches every single month. Was this a crazy gamble? Yeah. Was it a massive expense? Yeah. Was it on the edges of our budget? Yes, you know, but we were able to finagle it. No, I don't recommend at all going into debt to take with anyone. But you know what, guys, it was challenging, I'll tell you that. But it was a blessing too. And I'm so glad we did that, because if we had continued to stay with that coach who we loved him, we would have never probably even got to the championship level, like really hardcore, like in terms of, you know, traveling internationally. That's certainly would have never, ever, ever gained access to the level of coaching that we were able to get in Europe. We would certainly never have been able to turn pro. I mean, I'm sure, you know, we could have kind of, I'll say in the easier paths, but, you know, I really have a passion for my path, which is actually becoming a skilled dancer and then turning pro rather than, you know, just taking from a few week course and staying 1 week ahead of my students, you know. And so the irony of all, guys, here is that this amazing student who did become a good dancer because she was hardcore. She quit about 3 years later and teacher dumped him. So now he has no clientele, because he literally wasn't just he sent the nasty gram to. He emailed to all of his students, okay? And so now he has zero clientele. And at this point, it's been several years. All of his students, including us, had moved on. All of his pro-am kind of harem, they were dancing with other people. And you know what? Were those other people as skilled as him? No. But you know what? If you feel undervalued and disrespected by a coach, I don't care how good they are, you're not going to want to take with them. And these other pros treated them better and appreciated them and valued them. And oh my gosh, again, irony of ironies. His wife contacted me and was like, you have hurt his feelings that you are not taking with him now. Blah, blah, blah. Wah, world's smallest violin. And guys, I was like, well, honestly, he didn't really care about our feelings when he dumped us in a quick email 3 years ago. And what I didn't tell her is, and you know what, lady, I'm not dumb. We have way outgrown his ability to teach us by now. So he's not riding on my coach's coattails by having me take a few lessons with him in town now that he's back, so he can advertise for himself and try and resell himself from the ground up. Guys, this is why I've recommended to my pro friends here on previous videos, hey, do not, I just don't think it's good career move to prioritize one student over everyone else. I just think any decision made in greed often ends in, losing out in the long run, okay? And to be clear, I have zero ill will towards that prom student. I seriously doubt that she, you know, put the throttle on him like, well, I'm not going to take with you if you don't dump everyone else. I think he just got greedy and wanted to open up his schedule, because I'm sure she booked up, you know, as many hours as he wanted, which none of us could do. And then she'd show up at his beck and call because she was retired. You know, I can't do that. My partner and I are young working people. We've just, you know, started our careers. She, you know, is a sweet, sweet lady. In the end, this was a blessing for me. Not only did it help me, commit to better coaching, got me farther in my career, she was kind enough whenever she flew in world championship level coaching, internationally flew these folks in. We were the only couple that she invited over to give the opportunity to also take coaching with these people in her home where she built her own ballroom. So, oh my gosh, I am forever thankful to her. And you know what? When she did quit, she was so kind enough to gift me all of her costumes. So when I turned pro, I was able to pass that love along to my own students. And those costumes got a ton of wear and tear out of them because I'm sure she paid heaven knows how much for these top quality gowns. So anyway, I hope that, you know, if this has happened to you, if it does happen to you, you just have full faith. You are not alone. And you know what, guys? Everyone is replaceable. You know what? Is every student replaceable? Yes. But you know what? Every teacher is replaceable too, okay? That includes me. There is no exception, okay? It's not the end of the world. And matter of fact, it might be a blessing in disguise. So I do hope that hasn't happened to you. But if it does, you know what? Hey, share your story. I always find your stories to be fascinating because I am but one person in a world of ballroom dancers. And if you don't feel comfortable, you know, commenting, you can always reach out to me in Facebook Messenger too. It's just Sunny Page. Okay, I look forward to seeing you first thing tomorrow with some more things of ballroom dance. Have an awesome day, guys. Happy dancing. Bye.